walk this earth like a god.
You scared? What? You scared? What? You scared? What? Kicking in the door, I make the bitches hit the floor for keys. Yeah.
Travis got it here, and I'm back with some more boxing. Errol Spence is once again saying that he could beat Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is notorious for ducking Errol Spence. You know, ever since Errol Spence came around, Keith Thurman ain't been the same ever since then. He went from being like the loudest motherfucker, man, into like being political and shit. He needs to work himself up. He needs to fight more B-level fighters. You know, I think he's getting too far ahead of himself. But, you know, before that, I got an O, and I ain't afraid to let it go. You know what I'm saying? And all this bullshit, man, about what his mama used to beat his ass, so he ain't scared to get his ass whooped. I don't know what kind of retarded shit he used to say. But, you know, that shit is entertaining, though. But, you know, Errol Spence came around. And you ain't been acting the same since then. You act like Errol Spence's Debo. You know, when he leave, I'll be talking again. You could tell, like, when that shit was going on, when Errol Spence was calling him out, Mayweather was trying to get them to fight on his undercard, you can see that Keith Thurman was visibly upset, you know, even by reporters asking him about Errol Spence. Why? You know, he know deep down inside. Yeah, he did need to work himself up. But Keith Thurman also knew that Errol Spence would be like a very tough fight for him. You know, it's actually probably going to be his kryptonite. Y'all know he's weak to the body. Errol Spence got some crazy body shots, man. He will bust you down and shit, just motherfucking break you down and knock you out. He ain't afraid to get hit in the process. You know, he really need to kind of work on his defense a little bit while he's coming in. But hey, if you're going to run up in there, run up on somebody trying to get the knockout, you're going to take some punches. That's just how it works. And especially if you go to the body, you're leaving your head open. So with his style, I love Errol Spence's style. Aggressive as hell. You know what I'm saying? That's how I think all fighters should fight. You should have every intention on knocking a motherfucker out if you're going to be a boxer. You know, I never understood fighters like Paulie Malignaggi or even Chris Algieri. Shit, maybe even Timothy Bradley. You know, these fighters who are light punchers, they're great fighters though. You know, and they had like a ton of success in their career, especially Timothy Bradley. But you can't knock nobody out. And you supposed to fight for a living. It's amazing how many millions of dollars Tim Bradley has made without being able to knock people out. That's how you know that you could be a great fighter. If you knocking motherfuckers out, you don't go to the gym and be like, hey, I'm outboxing these amateurs, so I'm going to turn pro, so I can outbox some pros. You know, no. You know that you're a great fighter by knocking motherfuckers out. And that's what Errol Spence delivers. Keith Thurman been running scared ever since then. I mean, damn. It's fucked up. And Errol Spence released a statement, and he said, Bundu is very awkward, but I did my thing. I think I did better than Keith Thurman did. Yes, I can beat Keith Thurman. I feel like I can beat anybody, especially in the 147-pound division. You know, I think that'll be a great fight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not like extremely one-sided in Errol Spence's favor. It's just the hype is making people feel that way. But, you know, Errol Spence's last couple performances has been very impressive. You know, Chris Algieri had fought Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao knocked him down like 6 times, but he couldn't finish him off. Like, why didn't Chris Algieri stay down? Back in the day, he would have stayed down now, wouldn't he? Yeah, I know. Back in those Ricky Hatton days and shit. And the Oscar De La Hoya days when he made him quit on the stool and shit. Yeah, he would have knocked him out then. I know why. Because he was on that shit, that's why. Don't get me started with Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao couldn't knock out Chris Algieri. And Errol Spence knocked him out. And Keith Thurman couldn't knock out Leonard Bundu. Errol Spence knocked him out. So, you know, like he's making big statements in these fights. You know, really big statements. I mean, it's almost like he's proven to people that, you know, it ain't no fucking hype. I'm the real deal. His nickname is The Truth. He's letting people know I am the truth by these fights that he's been having. It's looking good as hell, man. It's entertaining than a motherfucker to watch, man. Just watch some. That's like the perfect fighter. Go in there, you just watching him. You know he got every intention on fucking you up. That's entertainment right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's must-see TV. His last fight was seen by 6 million people. I know some people said it's kind of like because of the Olympics was on before that, but they stayed tuned in. And guess what? They saw Errol Spence knock this motherfucker out completely, knock him through the ropes and shit. Motherfucker looked like he got shot in the chest with a shotgun. So guess what? Next time that he fight, they already know who he is. 6 million motherfuckers saw you do that to somebody. Yeah, you're a big name now. Them motherfuckers, even if like half of those motherfuckers tune into his next fight, that's 3 million viewers. At least 2. He's a really big name now. Making that statement in front of that many people. Yeah, that's why you always go out to make statements in these fights. He didn't know that 6 million motherfuckers was going to see him fight. When he found out, I bet he was happy, but he didn't know. But he made it. You know, he made it back in the day when Floyd was praising him, because Floyd knew that he was really good because he was pushing Floyd to the limit and sparring and shit like that. You know, that's got to be kind of like a little bit trippy if you Errol Spence, right? Just think about it. He's not a millionaire yet, but you know it's coming. But he's making $250,000 a fight right now. But you know it's coming. Like, you know that you set for life. All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. Keep dominating. Keep looking impressive. That's got to be tripped out. If you was Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy to me because, you know, I knew that he was going to go a long ways just by seeing him fight. And then just to see him like progress, you know, climb up through the rankings and shit. And now he's the mandatory for a title shot. And we know that he's going to get that title. You know, Kell Brook is probably going to vacate. And then, you know, he's going to probably fight an easier opponent. He's going to have that IBF title regardless. You know what I'm saying? And then he's just going to keep on dominating fighters. He's going to, hopefully he'll be able to get big fights. But, you know, I think it's going to be kind of tough because, you know, motherfuckers are scared. You know, it's a lot of pussies in boxing nowadays. You know, these motherfuckers be ducking. So, you know, it might be tough for him to get fights. But, you know, some fighters will step up. You know, you just fight names. You know, even if they done just fight the best fighters that you could possibly get. That's all you can do, right? If motherfuckers want to duck. And then, you know, you could build your name off of those fighters. But Errol Spence is #1 through the IBF. He's the mandatory, right? And now he's ranked #4 in the WBA. That's Keith Thurman's division. Now, I told y'all, Keith Thurman has a mandatory that he needs to fight. WBA had announced that Keith Thurman had 30 days to negotiate with his mandatory. A week later, he said that he was taking the rest of the year off because of a cut that he suffered in the Sean Porter fight. The #1 is David Avanesian. He's the interim champ through the WBA. And #2 is Jose Benavidez. Jose Benavidez, both, and David Avanesian. It's easy work for Errol Spence. Now, you know, I think that Kell Brook is probably going to, like, drag this shit out before he vacates just to keep options. You know, the IBF gave Kell Brook 10 days to make a decision whether he was going to keep that belt and move back down to welterweight or not. It has been 13 days. I haven't really heard anything. But, you know, they could have applied for an extension just because Kell Brook got an injury. So, you know, even if he did want to come back to 147, he can kind of drag it out, say, yeah, I'm injured, so I can't. But, you know, I still do want to, even if he don't really plan on it. He just to have some options. But, and then, like, while all of this shit is going on, Kell Brook's stalling out. You know, and then Errol Spence, he need a fight. Would you be surprised if David Avanesian took a fight with Errol Spence? Now, David Avanesian defeated Sugar Shane Mosley, he was in his mid-40s and shit. Middle-aged Sugar Shane Mosley, who was way past his prime. Way past his prime. He got so many losses in his last 10, it's ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure that David Avanesian didn't get 6 figures for that fight. He might have got like 50,000, 75,000 at the most. Now, if he's offered $250,000 for an Errol Spence fight, yeah, I think he'll take it. I think he'll take it. Shit, off the rip. You can't get a shot at Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman don't want to fight. And David Avanesian don't know if Keith Thurman come back and then he get a big fight and the WBA allow it. And then he just be sitting on a bench waiting longer. So, you know, he would take that fight with Errol Spence. And then Errol Spence would become Keith Thurman's mandatory. And then we're going to see that fight, man. You know, I don't think that it would be a good idea for Keith Thurman to move up in weight because he's so short. He's only like 5'7.5", you know, and that's okay. That's an okay height for welterweight. But if you go up to junior middleweight, then you be fighting motherfuckers that's like 5'11" and shit like that, you know, and 6 feet tall and have power who are bigger than you, you know. So like, you know, that wouldn't be a good idea for Keith Thurman. So I don't think that he would want to vacate his title and go out like a bitch to avoid Errol Spence. I don't think he would do that. You know, that would hurt him far more than get knocked out by Errol Spence. But, you know, like, Errol Spence is his boogeyman. He's like Keith Thurman's nightmare. And Errol Spence has been on Keith Thurman's mind for at least a year now. Yeah, you could have stalled the fight out, but Errol Spence is coming for Keith Thurman. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he fought David Avanesian next, while he's waiting on an IBF to get their shit together so he can fight for that title. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then when Keith Thurman come back, then he's going to be ordered to fight Errol Spence. You know, that's all Keith Thurman's fault. I don't understand, man. Like, why don't you just come back and knock out David Avanesian real quick? Then you'll be super champion, and then you'll be protected from Errol Spence the same way that Floyd Mayweather was protected from Keith Thurman. I don't understand why he won't do it. You know what I'm saying? And he only fought once this year. He only fought once last year. What's up with these guys, man? You know, Keith Thurman is in his prime, like his mid-20s and shit. What you gonna do? You gonna start fighting twice a year or 2 or 3 times a year when you in your 30s? Now is the time to get that money. They already, look, your mandatory is easy work. That's easy work for both Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman don't want to fight, man. He's like on vacation now. Picked up $1 million last year and then took a year off. Picked up another $1.5 million this year, and now he's taking a year off. So he gonna fuck around and let Errol Spence catch up to his ass. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is one fight for the David Avanesian and Errol Spence fight to happen. And then they're gonna sell it as this fight is to become Keith Thurman's mandatory. And then you're going to have to fight Errol Spence. And then most likely, Errol Spence is going to knock him out. He's already weak to the body. Errol Spence is this powerful-ass welterweight who's like, you know, taller than him, bigger than him, stronger than him, longer reach. Keith Thurman might be a little bit faster, but I don't know. Errol Spence, he has pretty decent speed. He's not slow. And I don't think Keith Thurman's going to be able to, like, hit Errol Spence hard enough to knock him out. So he's going to get broke down to the body. He's going to be on the run for sure. And Errol Spence is really good at tracking down his opponents. That's not going to be a good fight for Keith Thurman. And it's all because he fucking lazy, man. These fighters nowadays, man, I don't get these motherfuckers, man. Danny Garcia ain't fought since January. Jesse Vargas, he ain't fought in a long-ass time since winning the WBO title. Now, surprise, surprise, Manny Pacquiao is going to fight for the WBO title against Jesse Vargas. Keith Thurman, he got an opportunity to become super champ, and this motherfucker's taking another year off. Kell Brook is running up to middleweight to sacrifice his undefeated record. Instead of staying at 147 and taking the more meaningful fight, he went up there knowing that it was a good possibility that he would lose. And he did. And now he ain't coming back to 147. You know, these motherfuckers just fucked up the welterweight division, man. They still some big names, man. You know, Keith Thurman do a lot of views when he fight. Errol Spence did 6 million. And Danny Garcia do millions of views too. You know what I'm saying, when he fight. But these fighters, man, they need to fight more. You know, that the welterweight division is still hot, but it's still kind of like it's losing some of its luster. I mean, it already lost a lot of its luster when Floyd retired. But, you know, a lot of these guys are still big names, but they ain't fighting. They ain't doing shit, man. Errol Spence about to take over that motherfucker. He about to take over the 147-pound division. As long as he can still make that weight, because he That's a big ass motherfucking welterweight, man. And then like in between fights, you can see like he got a little bit more meat on his face and shit. You kind of like, damn, you gonna make 147 this time? But he probably will. I think he's like 5'9". You know, Sugar Ray Leonard was like 5'11". He fought at welterweight, so it's possible. But you know, Errol Spence is like really muscular and shit and built, so I don't know. But from the looks of it, Errol Spence don't plan on going up anytime soon unless he can get the Canelo fight. And he's most likely gonna get the Keith Thurman fight. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced Errol Spence was fighting David Avanesian next week. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. And then Keith Thurman is gonna be like, fuck, I fucked up. I shouldn't have did that shit. I shouldn't have took the rest of the year off. I should have just came back and fought that motherfucker and knocked him out. Instead, he's taking all this time out and he's letting Errol Spence catch up to him, man. But that's his decision. And you know what? I believe that Errol Spence would defeat Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? It's, like I said before, it's not going to be an easy fight. You know, Keith Thurman is a great fighter. Talented, quick, strong, got good footwork and everything. You know, he's a complete fighter. But Errol Spence is looking real dangerous out here, man. You know what I'm saying? He looked real dangerous. And just the fact that Keith is weak to the body and Errol Spence is very strong, throwing to the body alone makes that a very tough fight for Keith Thurman. And I think Errol Spence will beat him. I'm Travis Gotti. Thank you for tuning in to Travis Gotti Boxing. Subscribe.
I gotta quit fucking with you. I gotta quit fucking with you.